Hi, I'm Olivia. Welcome to class. So this class is about ankle stability. And in particular, we're going to be trying to work some of the muscles that act on your ankle. They will tend to run down the outside of your lower leg. So if you have ever experienced an ankle sprain, which they're not uncommon, by far the highest proportion of ankle sprains happen through what is called inversion. So that means if you watch this ankle of mine now, this is inverting my foot. See how it looks like the big toe side of my foot is lifting up and the sole of my foot is turning inwards. The opposite is eversion, where my foot would turn outwards. It's way less common to sprain your ankle that way. So if you take your hands and put one finger or a thumb on either inner and outer ankle bone. So those bones there, like they're not actually just little round bones. They're the bottom of each of your shin bones. And the one on the outside comes down much lower. Well, a little bit. Oh, the dog's coming to check out what's going on. The one on the outside comes down a bit lower than the one on the inside. So that's one of the reasons why it's less easy for your foot to evert or sole of foot turn out than it is for it to invert or roll inwards. So we're going to be trying to work the muscles that would bring you out of this inverted position and turning the sole of your foot outwards a little bit. So let's cross. He's just invading class. I think it's almost feeding time. That's why he wants to get involved. Let's cross the outside of your right ankle, just over your left thigh. And you might want to bend your bottom leg a bit. I'm going to bend mine up quite a lot so you can see what this foot is doing. And first of all, with this top foot, all I want you to do is point and flex your foot. So dead simple. By pointing your foot, I mean sending your toes away from your shin. Okay, he's bored now. And by flexing your foot, I mean bringing your toes towards your shin and just moving through that range. It's very professional having just a dog tail waving in and out of shot. And then now, instead of this pointing and flexing, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing a bit better. So if you can send your foot from side to side, so that inversion, eversion, that we were just talking about. Okay, so the dog has now settled down, so we can get back to thinking about what we were doing. So you're turning the sole of your foot inwards, like you're trying to see the sole of your foot. And then you're turning the sole of your foot outwards, like you're trying to see the top of your foot. And just keep it on going side to side. And then next time you turn the sole of your foot away from you, just hold like that. And see what you feel, if anything, going on in your leg. So I've bent my bottom leg a lot. It's just so you can see my foot easily. You could do this kind of down on the floor as well. That works too. So with this, trying to turn the sole of your foot out, it's going to be tending to work like the outer portion of your lower leg. And then let's relax that. And we'll cross your left foot, your left ankle over your right thigh. When I said foot, that I misspoke. Don't have your foot resting on your leg because then it won't be able to move. You want like above your ankle resting. And again, I'm going to bend my bottom knee. You could do that if you like. And just point and flex that foot. So for most people, this pointing and flexing action is like it's easier to do. Like your brain just understands it more easily. So we're starting with this to kind of tune into that ankle moving. And then instead of pointing and flexing, can you send your foot side to side? So you're turning the sole of your foot towards your face and then turning the sole of your foot away from your face and just moving like in between those two extremes of your range of motion. Next time you turn the sole of your foot away from you, hold like that and just keep on trying to turn it away. It's like you're trying to see as much of the top of your foot as possible and you're trying to turn the sole of your foot down to the floor, but not by moving the rest of your leg, just by motion at your ankle. So this action right here, in a minute, I'm going to ask you to do it sitting cross-legged. So just take real note of what it feels like to be almost kind of pressing the little toe side of your foot away. And then relax that. And let's come to sit cross-legged. So either leg in front, your preference. You could be sitting on something if you like. rather than like crossing at your ankles and bringing your feet in close, let's have a bit of space between ankles and pelvis, and then wiggle your feet apart. So they're maybe about knee width, and then just let your knees drop. So the way that you're sitting, if it feels all right, like it's fine. The way that I'm sitting right now in cross-legged, this is a perfectly reasonable way of doing it. But just for the sake of what we're doing today, I'm going to try and ask you to do it a little bit differently. So you might be able to see in yourself, or if you kind of look at the screen, see how when I sit cross-legged, it tends to make my ankles bend a little bit sideways. Again, that's not wrong. You're not going to hurt yourself. That's probably fine. But just right now, I want us to try and bring your ankle out that sideways bend. So remember when you were just turning the soles of your feet out? Now start to press the little toe sides of your feet down into the floor so much that your outer ankle starts to lift away from the floor. So if that was confusing, you can look at the screen. I'll do that again. First of all, my legs were relaxed. And then I pressed not outer ankle, little toe side of foot down into the floor until my outer ankle lifted away from the floor, both legs. And then keep on doing that. And when you get to the point where you don't feel like you can do it anymore, with those 2 feet, with the outer edges of your feet, imagine you're trying to slightly pull towards each other. So you might just feel that around lower legs with that pulling towards. You might have felt something kick up around your hips, maybe somewhere else. And then let that relax. And let's switch to the other side. Okay, so first of all, just sitting normally, letting your legs be relaxed. And then start to press little toe side of foot down into floor. So I'm trying to get this sideways bend, this inversion of my ankle. I'm trying to get rid of it. So I'm pressing down little toe sides of feet until my outer ankles lift away from the floor. And you can do this as strongly as you like. Now keep your legs crossed, but imagine with your 2 feet, you're trying to pull towards each other. And then let that relax. Great. Let's shift to all fours. And then from there, downward facing dog. So tuck your toes under and send your hips up and back. Okay. So next time you inhale, come right up onto your tiptoes. And then as you exhale, let your heels release down towards the floor. They don't have to get all the way there. Let's have feet a bit wider than hip width, and then do that again. Inhale, come up onto tiptoes. Exhale, heels release down towards the floor. Do that one more time. And then next time you come up onto your tiptoes, keep your heels lifted. Now we're going to come onto the sides of your feet. So turn your toes to the left and your heels to the right. So you end up on the outer edge of your right foot and the inner edge of your left foot. Push the floor away, send your hips up and back. And then on an inhale, swivel up onto tiptoes again. Let's go all the way to the other side. Exhale, heels to left, toes to right. You're on outer edge of left foot, inner edge of right foot. Send hips up and back. On an inhale, come up onto your tiptoes, park it there. Exhale, heels release down towards the floor. Taking a moment here. And then let's walk your feet towards your hands. End up in a standing forward fold. So just bending over towards the front of your mat if you are on one. On an inhale, lift your torso halfway up to standing. So chest pulls forwards and up. You could prop your hands on your legs. You could reach your arms back. Any of those versions work. And then as you exhale, fold down towards the floor again. Excuse me, inhale, come all the way up to stand, reach arms overhead and up towards the ceiling. Exhale, bring your palms together and thumbs to your chest. Okay, so you can stay standing where you are. I'm going to turn to face towards you because then you can see what's going on with my ankles a bit better. So being mindful of how this feels. If it starts to get uncomfortable, you could try doing everything just a bit less or just skipping this part. That's okay. Looking down at your feet, let's roll onto the outer edges of your feet. So again, if you are doing this class, you are recovering from this kind of ankle sprain, and just go easy with this. Roll until the outer edges of your foot, so little toe side until body says that's enough. and then feet flat on the floor again. And now let's roll towards inner edges of feet. So you might find you can't do this as much. And some of you will feel like you need to bend your knees to be able to do it. And then we'll rock between those. So feet flat, and then you're on little toe sides, and then feet flat, and then you're on big toe sides. And if you look down at your feet as you're doing this, if you're able to see them, you'll see probably that like some of your toes are lifting off the floor as you're going side to side. Now, next time you pass through center, I want you to plant all 10 toes on the floor and don't let your toes lift up, but now keep trying to rock side to side. So it will feel like there's not as big a motion going on. And then gradually make that side to side rocking get smaller and smaller until you kind of settle somewhere that feels like the weight's fairly even between big toe and little toe side. And maybe possibly it might feel like either sides of like outer ankles or shins or and inner ankles or shins kind of working about the same. Okay. And then I'm going to shift to be at the front of my mat, but you might stay just where you are. Keeping on pressing down through your big toes in particular. Let's come right up onto your tiptoes like you did in downward dog. And feel that maybe when you do this, at some point you'll want to roll onto the little toe sides of your feet. See if you can keep pressing down your big toes. And then at the same time, also reach your arms overhead. Okay, we're going to keep your heels lifted, but now start to bend your knees like you're sliding down a wall and reach both your arms straight forwards. On an inhale, come way up again. Try and touch the ceiling. As you exhale, bring your feet flat and bring your hands to prayer. We're going to do that 2 more times. So just different half salutations because they work your lower legs more than the normal ones. On an inhale, come onto tiptoes, reach arms overhead. Exhale, bend your knees, arms reach forwards. Inhale, tiptoes, arms reach up to ceiling. Exhale, feet flat, hands to prayer. A bit different this time. Inhale, reach to ceiling. Tiptoes, keep heels lifted. Exhale, slide down that wall, arms reach forwards. Inhale, come all the way up, arms reach overhead. You're still lifting your heels. Exhale, feet flat, fold down towards your legs this time. On an inhale, lift halfway up to standing, so chest pulls forwards. Exhale, step your right foot back to a lunge. Drop that knee down onto the floor. Inhale, reach both arms overhead. Exhale, hands down, plank. So inhaling in your plank. As you exhale, lower down to lie on your front. Reach both arms back alongside you. On an inhale, lift arms, legs, and chest away from the floor. Exhale, hands under shoulders, downward facing dog. So send your hips up and back. Take a breath in once you get there. As you breathe out, step your right foot forwards. Drop back knee down onto your mat. Inhale, reach both arms overhead. Exhale, hands to prayer. Step forwards to a standing forward fold. On an inhale, lift halfway up, chest pulls forwards. Exhale, fold down towards the floor again. Inhale, come up to stand, reach arms overhead and up towards ceiling. Exhale, palms together, thumbs to chest. So let's just do the other side. Inhale, reach arms overhead. Exhale, fold down towards your legs. Inhale, lift halfway up, chest pulls forwards. Exhale, hands to prayer, left foot back, left knee down to floor. Great. Inhale, reach your arms up and press down through your feet. Exhale, hands down, plank. Inhale in your plank, so you're on your tiptoes. Exhale, lower down to lie on your front. Arms reach back alongside you. Inhale, lift everything up, locust pose. Spread your toes this time. Exhale, hands under shoulders, downward facing dog. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, left foot forwards into a lunge. Drop your back knee down onto the floor. Inhale, reach both arms overhead. Exhale, hands to prayer, step forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway up, chest pulls forwards. Exhale, fold down towards the floor. Inhale, come all the way up, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, palms together, and thumbs to chest. Nice, everyone. Let's step your left foot back to tiptoes so you are in a lunge with right leg forwards. Okay, reach both your arms overhead. So take your attention down to your front foot and feel like big toe, little toe side of front foot. What's going on there? Can you make each side of big toe and little toe feel like it's bearing the same amount of weight? And then with your right hand, take hold of your left wrist. Stretch your arms up towards the ceiling and then gently bend sideways over to the right. So side bending kind of up and over that front leg. And then notice what's going on with your weight distribution in your front foot. Are you leaning more on one side than the other? Can you make big and little toe feel even? As you inhale, reach up towards the ceiling again. Exhale, hands to prayer, just step to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach both arms overhead. Exhale, fold down towards your legs. Inhale, lift halfway up, chest pulls forwards. Exhale, refold, bend your knees if you like. Inhale, come up and reach up. Exhale, palms together and thumbs to chest. Great, take a breath in just here at the front of your mat. As you breathe out, step your other foot back to tiptoes. So we're in a lunge with left leg forwards. Reach both your arms overhead. Feel that joint where your big toe connects into your foot, the base of your big toe, and then also your little toe. Can you press those down evenly? Take hold of your right wrist with your left hand. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, bend sideways over to the left. And you might feel like your front foot, maybe your back foot kind of moving around a little bit. So that foot, your ankle, lower leg is working to try and keep you steady even while you're moving your upper body around. Next time you inhale, reach both arms up to ceiling again. Exhale, hands to press, step to the front of your mat. Inhale, reach to ceiling. Great. Exhale, fold down towards your legs. Inhale, lift halfway up, chest pulls forwards and up. Exhale, refold. Inhale, come up to stand, reach your arms way overhead. Exhale, palms together and thumbs to chest. So let's build on that lunge a little bit. Step your left foot back to tiptoes again. As you inhale, reach both arms up towards the ceiling. And then this time as you exhale, put your fingertips down on the floor, either inside or either side of your front foot. If now you're down here, you feel like you want to lengthen your stride, you're welcome to take a breath in where you are. As you breathe out, straighten your front leg just till it stops. Inhale, rebend front knee, come onto your tiptoes back foot. Exhale, straighten front leg till it stops, press back heel down and back. So just rocking backwards and forwards on your feet. Inhale, bend front knee, tiptoes back foot. Exhale, rock back. Okay, so one more time. And next time you rock back on that back heel, I want you to turn your left toes out. So your back foot turns out and that heel turns in. Keeping your front knee bent on an inhale, come up, warrior two, arms reach out. Okay, nice work. So if you feel like you need to adjust your stride a little bit, you are of course welcome to. And then next time you inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, reach your front hand past your front foot, tilt sideways, triangle pose. And then your top arm can be reaching up. If that's not comfy, put your hand on your hip, your preference. Turn your head, if it feels okay, to look down towards your front foot. And notice in this position, do you tend to lean a bit more on the little toe side or big toe side? Can you make that feel even? And then let's press down into that front foot, rebend your front knee on an inhale, come all the way back up, warrior two. Great, exhale, hands down by your front foot, step back to downward facing dog this time. And then you can hold there for a couple of breaths. You can bring your knees down, take a break if you like. If you want to keep moving, you can come with me. It's just optional. On an inhale, shift to plank so you're on your tiptoes. Exhale, lower down to lie on your front. Untuck your toes this time, tops of feet press down. Inhale, cobra pose, chest pulls forwards. Exhale, lift your hips, downward facing dog. And then let's step your left foot forwards into a lunge. Back leg stay straight. Come up when you are ready. Okay, so you can stay as you are. I'm just swiveling around because that works better relative to my camera. Okay. On an inhale, reach both arms overhead. Exhale, hands down, either side or inside front foot. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, straighten your front leg till it stops. Press back heel down and back. On an inhale, rebend front knee, tiptoes back foot. Exhale, press back heel down and back, front leg straighten till it stops. And just a couple of times, kind of shifting backwards and forwards. So when you're shifting back, it's like your back foot is flexed and your front foot is pointed. And then when you shift forwards, the opposite happens. Next time you shift back, pause. Turn your back toes out, back heel in. Front leg is bent. Inhale, come up, warrior two. Hold there, couple of breaths. Nice, everyone. Next time you inhale, straighten your front leg. Exhale, reach your front hand past your tiptoes. Triangle pose, tilt sideways. Great. Any arm position for top arm that works. This time you can either look at your front foot, or you can just think about it, your preference. Notice, do you tend to lean? I think a little bit more common, possibly what I've observed, a bit more common to lean on the little toe side of your foot. If that's happening to you, can you press down maybe slightly more big toe? Then on an inhale, come all the way back up, warrior two. Great. Exhale, straighten front leg, hands on your hips. Okay, let's swivel on your feet so that they're parallel. And just check out your feet in this position. So like when your legs are wide, if your feet are flat on the floor, your ankles bend a little bit sideways, so your feet are slightly inverted. That's how this position works. So just noticing that. And then let's do one more round of that warrior two stuff. So we'll turn your right toes out, bend your right knee, arms reach out. Okay. And then again, just being mindful with how this feels. Instead of having your back foot flat on the floor, now can you start to come onto the inner edge of your back foot? So little toe side of foot lifts away from the floor. If that starts to feel a bit weird anywhere, then you just dial it back down. Otherwise, you're kind of resting on like the inner edge, big toe side of your foot. So the outer portion, the kind of outer portion of ankle, that there is having to shorten to lift your foot up against gravity. And then flip your front palm to face the ceiling. Drop your back foot flat again. Reach your front arm overhead. Back arm drops down towards back leg. On an inhale, come back up, warrior two. So arms shoulder height again. Exhale, bend your front arm, prop it on your front thigh. Other arm extends alongside your ear. And then just like you did before in warrior two, think about that back foot. Come onto the inner edge of your back foot. Next time you inhale, put your top hand on your top hip. As you exhale, shorten your stride. So step your back foot up. Back foot can be flat on the floor. Inhale, bottom fingertips down onto the floor, or you can grab a block if you want it. Step it forwards of your little toe, and then lean your weight onto your front foot. Lift your back leg, so half moon pose. So my back foot is pointing out towards the side of the room. I'm trying to lift the outer edge of my foot up towards the ceiling. Look down, whoa, look down at your standing foot. See how it's kind of moving around? You see like lots of little movements going on at your ankle. So ankle muscles working to hold you steady. And then experiment. Can you take an entire slow, steady breath to get back to warrior two? The answer was no. Don't worry, it was almost no for me as well. Take a breath in like that. As you breathe out, straighten your front leg. Let's swivel on your feet. Okay, hands on your hips. Inhale, standing tall. Exhale, fold down towards the floor. So you can keep your hands on your hips. You could have hands down on the floor, or if you've got a block or something handy, you can have your hands on your block. Let's wiggle your feet wider apart. So just wiggle them out until body's like, that's enough. And see how the more you take your feet apart, the more there's that sideways bend in your ankle. Again, if you were recovering from some kind of like outer ankle sprain, you might want to not go so wide. And then let's wiggle your feet just a little bit closer in again. Put your hands on your hips, shrug your shoulders away from your ears and come up to stand. Great, turn your left toes out. Warrior two on the other side. Bend that knee, arms reach out. Think about your back foot like we did before, just being mindful of how this feels. Come onto the inner edge of back foot so that your little toe side of your foot just lifts away from the floor. Flip your front palm to face the ceiling, drop your back foot flat. On an inhale, sweep your front arm up, drop your back hand down, so reverse warrior, nice. Then whenever your next inhale comes around, transition back through warrior two. Exhale, front arm props on front thigh. Inhale, extend your other arm alongside your ear. If that works, great. If it doesn't, hand on hip, that works too. And then like we did in warrior two, just a little bit of feeling that back foot. Come onto the big toe side of your back foot so the outer edge of foot is not resting on the floor anymore. And then if you're not there already, let's inhale, put your top hand on your top hip and drop your back foot down flat. Exhale, shorten your stride, so back foot steps closer to front foot. If you want to grab a block, I'll use one this time. Inhale, step your bottom hand forwards of the little toe. Exhale, lean your weight onto front leg, lift back leg. So your back toes are turning out towards the side of the room. Either look at or just feel your bottom foot, how that ankle's kind of moving around a bit. You might reach your top arm up towards the ceiling, so half moon pose. Take a breath in there if you're still with me. And then as you breathe out, top foot down, back of mat, warrior two. Yes, inhale, arms reach out. Great, exhale, hands down by front foot, downward facing dog. Park it there if you like, or come down, take a break if you want to. If you want to keep moving, so like pedaling legs or going through that little plank back bend flow that we did before, you could do that. So one more set of standing stuff, and then we'll start to wind it down again. So let's come to downward facing dog. And then step your right foot forwards into a lunge. So back foot's up on tiptoes again. And bring yourself upright. Maybe hands to prayer this time. Okay, take a breath in. As you breathe out, shift your weight forwards, warrior three. That means lift your back leg. So you might just step up into it, or you might find that you want to shorten your stride a little bit and then step up. So this time, I don't want you looking down at your foot. You're lifting your chest up, but instead just feeling that standing foot, feeling all those little motions at your ankles, try and keep you steady. And then slowly start to look towards the front of your room, bring yourself upright, top knee into chest. And like we did sitting on the floor, just cross the outside of that top ankle just above your standing knee. Bend your standing knee a little bit. Sit your hips down and back. And just keep doing that until body's like, okay. And then just either stay like this, or just like we did when you were sat on the floor, imagine you're trying to evert that top foot. So it's like you're trying to turn the sole of your foot to point a bit more towards the floor. Then next time you inhale, come back up, top knee into chest, arms overhead this time. And as you exhale, let's step back to a lunge, top foot down, back of mat. Inhale where you're at. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. Just a couple of breaths here, or coming down for a rest, or keeping just steady motion going if you like, that's your preference. And then last side, step your left foot forwards, lunge. The back leg stays straight. Come up, hands to prayer. So a bit of balancing today. Like I really often do balancing in my class. You might know that if you're a regular, just because of the way. It's just good work for lower body. So breath in, breath out, shift Forwards, warrior three, back leg lifts up. And then experiment with like how slowly, how considered you can bring yourself upright. Top knee into chest. So you're just standing up tall, top knee lifted, standing leg straight. And then let's cross the outside of your top ankle above your standing knee. You can stay as you are. I'm just going to turn the other way this time so you can see what I'm doing a bit better. Bend your standing knee a bit, sit hips down and back. And then this top foot, imagine you're trying to turn the sole of your foot to point towards the floor. Maybe as you're here, you might reach arms overhead. Then take a breath in, coming upright again. As you breathe out, step top foot back, lunge, so tiptoes down behind you. Inhale in your lunge, nice work. Exhale, hands down, downward facing dog. So you remember we did that thing at the beginning where we were in downward dog and then we swiveled on your feet? You could do the same thing again now, or you could take a break, or we're going to do that also from a plank position. So I'm going to do it on my hands. You might prefer to be on your forearms. That feels nicer on your wrists. So have your feet a bit wider than hip width. And then shift forwards to plank position. Come down into your elbows if you like. So you're up on your tiptoes. Swivel on your feet. So your toes turn to the right and your heels turn to the left. You're on outer edge of left foot, inner edge of right foot. Push the floor away strongly with your left arm. Reach your right arm up towards the ceiling. And then let's come back to center. We can do that a couple of times each side. Remember, rest if you need. Inhale and center. Exhale, toes turn to right, heels turn to left. Inhale, reach top arm up. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale in center. Exhale, toes to right, heels to left. Inhale, reach right arm up. Exhale, come back to center. Inhale, center. Last time. Exhale, toes to left, heels to right. Inhale, reach left arm up. Exhale, both hands down. Inhale, back to center. Pause there. Exhale, drop your knees down. Child's pose, or just come to sit if you prefer. And then as you're ready, let's make your way to lying on your back. Have your knees bent and the soles of your feet flat on the floor. Feet are about hip width, maybe a little bit wider. Heels kind of underneath your knees or maybe a bit further forwards. Arms by your side. Press your feet into the floor. And imagine with your feet, you're trying to pull apart a little bit. So your right foot is pulling to the right and your left foot is pulling to the left. You might feel that maybe kind of outer hip, sides of bum, outer portion of legs. Anywhere along outer edge of leg, I'm good with, from bum to foot. And then keep that feeling going on as you also start to lift your hips to a bridge pose. So you might find that you lose it a little bit as you lift up. That's okay. Just dial it down a little with feet pull apart again and then try and lift up. Doesn't have to be the biggest bridge you've ever done. And then slowly come down. Bring the soles of your feet together and your knees apart. Experiment with whether you can press your big toes more firmly together. And then with the outer edges of your feet, press down into the floor. Keep doing that. Keep your knees wide. Now also hover your bum off the floor. Take a breath in like that. And as you breathe out, bring bum down. If you're comfy just resting for a moment, letting your knees fall apart, you could do that. If you'd rather bring them back together, you're welcome to. And then let's bring both your knees together. Right knee into chest, left leg straight. Catch your top knee with your hands, just that top foot. Let's draw some circles with your ankle. And then pointing and flexing foot a few times. And like we did at the beginning, then sending foot side to side, so turning solar foot inwards and then outwards. Maybe emphasizing a little bit more the outwards. And if you've got your hands wrapped around your shins, you might feel kind of as you turn your sole of your foot out, like just a muscle switch on underneath your hand. And then just use just your left hand to take your top knee across your body into a twist, a couple of breaths there. Other arms just resting on the floor. Untwist as you're ready. Bring left knee into your chest, right leg straight along the floor. Some circles with that top foot. And then a bit of pointing and flexing with foot. And then sending foot side to side. Emphasizing the motion where you're turning the sole of your foot to point more out. And then using your opposite hand, let's take your top knee across your body into a twist. Watch out, dog. Maybe one more inhale in your twist. And then as you exhale, undo it, hug both your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. You might rock a little side to side. And then choose a comfy position to rest in. So I'm going to go for knees bent and feet just knocking in a little bit. That's almost a little bit the opposite action to what we've been working so far in your ankles, so that might feel nice. You might like just legs out straight, feet falling out to side. Decide if you like hands or belly, arms by side. If you maybe want to sit up for a moment, you're welcome to. And then once you feel like you're comfy, take a deep breath in. Long breath out. And then just breathe in normally. After all that effort around your ankles and your legs, is there any way your legs or your feet could be more relaxed? Same question for your arms and hands. Is there any tension in your face you can let go of? So maybe forehead, around your eyes, around your mouth. What does your breathing feel like? Is it fast or slow? Is it deep or shallow? Do you feel it more in your belly or your ribs? just here, wiggle your toes a little bit so that you can feel your feet. And then take a couple of deeper breaths. If you're lying down, you might want to take your arms overhead for a bit of a stretch before we get up. And then if you're not already there, just gently make your way up to sit. You could be cross-legged, you can sit on heels, legs out in front. You place your hands in your lap to finish, or maybe on belly, or maybe in prayer, your choice. As you inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, drop your chin. Thank you very much.